Hi, my name is Theodor Dragan from AppAwards. I'm here today with Drew Banks, Head of Marketing at Prezi. As you may know, AppAwards gives App Awards to the most original applications in the world. Today I'm happy to announce that the winner of this award for the presentation category is Prezi. Mr. Banks, congratulations to you and your team.
Thank you very much.
Can you tell us a bit more about yourself, your company, and your app?
Sure. Let me start with myself. I have been in Silicon Valley since 1989, probably longer than some of your viewers have been alive. I came right out of business school. I went to MIT and then moved out here to join a company called Silicon Graphics. And at that time, Silicon Graphics was an amazing place to be. It was filled with people that were trying to change the world and did change the world through 3D visualization. Um, and it was just on fire. I spent 10 years there, and it was an amazing 10 years around amazing people. Um, but after those 10 years, I left and wrote a couple of business books and then was convinced by two of my friends to start our own company. We were really frustrated with the complexity of home networking, thought it should be easier, and decided to build an ecosystem of technology to address it.
Mhm.
Um, it was starting a company is an amazing thing to do. It's an exhausting thing to do, especially post dot-com bubble, and especially when you're trying to raise money for hardware and software, which takes a lot of money. We raised $20 million in an environment that was very difficult to raise money. Um,
Impressive.
it was yeah, it was impressive. But then at the end of 7 years, when we were getting ready to launch the service, I realized I was spending more time managing my investors than I was in product development, and that's not what I want to do. I'm really about building a great product and solving a big problem. And while we were solving the big problem, I wasn't being able to do that myself. I was managing investors. So I was exhausted. I hired a CEO, handed the company off to him, and then I said I'm going to take a year off. A week later, or a week or two later, I was at an event and ran into Peter Arvai, who's CEO of Prezi, and Peter, as you know, every good entrepreneur, was excitingly wanting to tell me about his product. He said, "Let me tell you about my company." And I said, "Don't want to hear about your company. I'm taking a year off, and I'm just here for the free food and wine." He said, "No, but I got this great company." And I said, "Okay, tell me about your company." And he told me about the product. And I said, "Oh, it sounds sort of like PowerPoint meets Google Maps." And he said, "Yeah, that's sort of about it." And I said, "Great, great for you. Good luck with that." And he said, "Just go home and look at the product. Just look at the product and tell me what you think." So I got home, I opened my computer, and I brought up Prezi and I stayed on the product, futzing around with it for about 4 hours. And I thought, man, this this is an amazing product. This product is going to do what SGI did. It's going to change the world through visualization, but in a much more mainstream way, in a way that anyone can resonate with. So next day I called Peter back and said, "It's a great product. Congratulations, but I'm not interested in a job." He said, "Just come in and talk to me." I said, "Okay." 2 weeks later, I was flying to Budapest. I met the whole team. The team is an incredible group of people, passionate group of people, exactly what I want to be a part of. And I joined the company. Now, as far as the company goes, let me give you a little background there. Um, the
Please.
the company was founded by three guys, three Hungarians, although one of the Hungarians grew up in Sweden. Um, the original guy, Adam Shamley Fisher, is an artist and architect, and he was winning a lot of awards in media because he sort of blends those two fields and does major architect slash art projects, installations. And he was speaking at conferences and wanted a tool to help him present the large ideas that he was doing and then drill into the details. but not drill into them in a highly structured way, in a non-linear way. Take his audience on a journey. And he couldn't find anything. And he's a tinker, and he was like, "Well, I know software. I'll build something." And he did. He built what was the original prototype for Prezi. And as he was traveling around the world speaking, audience members would come up and go, "Wow, that is so freaking cool. How'd you do that? What's the software?" And he goes, "It's my own software, and here I'll let you use it, but it's it's difficult to use right now. It's my own little piece of software." Then he returned to Budapest he was in Scandinavia at the time. Returned to Budapest and was presenting at a university where Peter Halacci was a university professor, who's the second co-founder of Prezi. And Peter said, "Man, this is great. Why don't I join you and we productize this?"
Mm-hmm.
And Adam said, "Yeah, let's do it. But if we do that, we need someone to run the business, because I'm an artist and architect. You're a computer guy, new media guy. We need a business guy." And so they found Peter Arvai. Peter was running his own company up in Sweden at the time in healthcare. And actually had called, the way they found him, he had called them to try to get, I think Peter Halacci, to try to get Peter to come to his company. And it's like, thanks for that offer, but I've got an offer for you. And they recruited him, and then they started Prezi. The product, I think your viewers can experience that for themselves. I think the product is a presentation package and a collaboration package, but it's very different than other presentation software out there. It's especially different in that Prezi doesn't use the metaphor of slides to present information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, most presentation software works on this age-old concept, which is truly 350 years old, of presenting information in linear slides. And that concept has not changed since the introduction in computers. I mean, we haven't really leveraged the power of computers or the visualization ability of computers to change that concept, because slides are slides. They're rectangular slides that move linearly through information. And Prezi sort of said, that's not the metaphor we're going to use. We're going to look at a metaphor of a completely open canvas,
Mm-hmm.
no borders of slides, and then you throw information onto the canvas, and then you zoom in and out of information using not only sort of X and Y axis, but the Z axis.
Yeah.
And so what that does, and I can talk about this, but you have to experience it really. What that does is change the concept of linear sort of static presentation to non-linear dynamic experience. And so Prezi is an experience that is very different than a PowerPoint deck. It's also an experience that bridges the non-linear creation process and the linear storytelling. So throughout in most of our endeavors, in most of our work, we have our tools to brainstorm, our tools to create the idea. And then once the idea is formed, we have our tools to develop that idea and present that idea.
Yep.
And, we use whiteboards for brainstorming. And then once we have the idea formed, we move over to another set of tools. Well, Prezi bridges those two. So in Prezi's open canvas, you throw your ideas, you brainstorm, you collaborate across time zones because we have a collaboration built into the product. And then once you're done, you're on that same campus, you build your story. So there's no break in the process. You go from brainstorming fluidly to the development of the story. And then when you present the story, you take that audience on a similar journey. It's not, here's a linear set of information. It's, here is a story and a non-linear journey.
Yeah, we like the fact that if you come up with an idea, you don't have to write it down on a piece of paper. You can just put it in a presentation, and you can zoom in and out of it according to when you want to go there. to it. So if you have an idea, you can just put it down directly, and you don't have to worry where it fits in first till you get there.
Exactly. You can just, okay, here's an idea I have right now.